Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the debut of Ocean County Memories, a community scrapbook. I am your host, Ellie Reid, and here with me tonight are the stars of the show, Mr. Asay and Mr. Anderson. Thank you tonight for joining us. Both of you have been recognized by the Ocean County Cultural and Heritage Commission for your hard work and dedication in creating a Facebook group about important local history that has an ever-growing membership. The Commission has awarded you, as the leaders of the Ocean County Memories established 1850, the 2021 Special Award for Merit. Without further ado, please enjoy the following documentary directed by myself and Michael McMurran. The film will be followed by a question and answer session with the award winners. Thank you and enjoy.
Pat Asay and Andrew Anderson deserve an awful lot of credit from the community of Ocean County. I think they've done such a wonderful job for us. They showed us the past. They show us as it comes forward. It came in small increments, and you can see it as it grew from its infancy, basically.
Ocean County Memories, established 1850, is a large Facebook group that is led by two history enthusiasts. 2021 Ocean County Special Award for Merit winners, Patrick Asay and Andrew Anderson, are being recognized for their knowledge of the county, love of history, and determination for success to create something that benefits everyone.
I realized, looking at these different groups, there's a lot of groups out there for individual towns like Toms River, like Lavalette, etc., but there was no group that covered all of Ocean County. And so I just had this idea in my head, it would be nice to start a group that covered all of Ocean County because there's a lot of history out there.
What we have available as historians now compared to a decade ago, 2 decades ago, 50 years ago, it's just tremendous. Now we can sit at home on our computer and do a tremendous amount of research about items that we're finding on the page, like the dinosaurs such, or areas that people have questions about.
It's our history here. It's a lot larger than a lot of people know, but they can now at least find out a little bit more. And no, I think there's a good, tight community here.
It's been great with the group, being able to share this, our experiences and our collections and our history of growing up here being shared with people in the county, and also those in the county bringing their family histories and collections here.
I wanted younger people in Ocean County to be able to find out what was it like? What was it like here in the 50s, 60s, or even before that? And through these stories and photographs, I think we've been somewhat of a success with that.
I graduated high school in 1966 here at Central, and those were the spots that I can recall a lot. So as soon as I see those pictures and read the comments, it's like, whew, it brings you right back. Again, it's nice for me. It's like opening up the scrapbook again, and then that's part of my life. Okay, and many other people, when they're also looking at it, they may be going through the same feeling where they're opening up a scrapbook.
The idea of a community scrapbook resonated with the growing group membership. As more pictures were shared, new connections were made in the comment section that propelled the group far past Asay and Anderson's original expectations.
4 years ago when the group started, it was a lot of Pat and myself sharing personal photographs, and it just expanded to the point that by the time we reached our 4th anniversary of the page, there was over 22,000 people who were members, and we weren't relying just on pictures that we were posting, but now we have dozens of people that are regulars that are posting pictures that they found through research or from their own personal family collections.
When I started this, I looked at other groups. I thought, well, maybe we can get a couple thousand people I think I just, like kind of caught a wave. I had no previous idea that it would get this big. It's a passion for me, I enjoy it. I enjoy my family history, and I enjoy reading about other local history.
It's quite an accomplishment. There's a lot of dedication. There's a lot of sacrifice on their part to complete the job in a manner in which they've done it. Very professional. I just really, really admire the work they've done, and I think the entire community thanks them for what they've done too.
Thank you for watching with us. If you remember, when we interviewed both of you for about an hour each. Being asked to meet the requirement of 5 minutes for this piece, it was really tough to narrow down exactly everything you guys said. So keeping that in mind, thinking back to our conversation months ago, is there anything you wish the viewers would have heard that didn't make it in the final cut?
Well, I think that one of the things, the tremendous growth in Ocean County that we've talked about, and how it changed from a rural community to a suburban community, and the tremendous population growth. And so people, growing up at different time periods, how different it was. In fact, if you were a high school senior in Forked River in the 1950s, you'd be attending Toms River High School. And there was nothing down here, no place to go to school. And so, Toms River was the county seat, and the downtown was vibrant. And you had, at the end of Main Street there, you had a place called King Custard. It was something right out of the American Graffiti movie, where cars would drive up and, get service to their car and have a cheeseburger and shake. And so different than the jug handle it is now, and the 3 lanes passing by of Route 37. And so I think, when we look at the population growth, this is my dad's master's thesis from 1966, The Growth Dilemma of Ocean County, Glassboro State College. He was sounding the alarms then when Ocean County's population was 153,000. Well, today it's 607,000. And to put that in perspective, the state of Wyoming, the whole state only has 578,000 residents. But I think what the county commissioners and the state has been able to do with open space preservation has been pretty remarkable. That people still, can work and live a enjoyable recreational life in Ocean County. Over 50 miles of sandy beaches are, in the coastal plain are pine lands that have been saved, and lots of opportunities for outdoor enthusiasts.
All right, thank you, Mr. Acey. Yeah, Mr. Anderson, do you have anything to add?
Yeah, just something that, thanks to you and your interview, really gave me new focus for our group. When Pat started this page, it was because there hadn't been a group on Facebook that was specific to all of Ocean County. There were lots of different, I grew up in this town, I remember this town, nothing for overall Ocean County. And it started as a passion project of Pat's. As the group grew, I was brought in, and a lot of times we were sharing personal photographs, research that we had done. And as the membership grew, more people brought their collections in. And as somebody shares a picture, it relates more stories. Even today, somebody had posted a picture of right down the road from here, the old trestle bridge, which is now part of the county rail trail, and that was the old swimming hole. Well, it's something that it relates to people, it reminds them of when they were growing up, and different aspects, whether it was in the 30s, the 40s, the 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, even early 2000s, different parts of people's childhoods and what they remember, and just all the different comments that they received, the little anecdotes that go with it to really make vibrant life of these pictures. But it was last year's recipient, Bob Popovich, who really put things into perspective for me when he says, you know, what we've really created is Ocean County Scrapbook. But it's not just my memories, it's not just Pat's memories, it's memories of everybody in the group who are either sharing their pictures or telling stories and anecdotes to go with those pictures. And it's really giving a wide perspective to the history of this county. We have people in their 80s all the way down through teenagers who belong, and everybody has a little different part of the story that they're telling. And it's just been amazing to see the growth of it and the involvement of the people, and just how much joy it brings people both in the county and a number of people who are out of the state who grew up here. And going to the Facebook page and looking at the pictures just brings them a joy. It reminds them of what it was like living here in Ocean County, New Jersey. So it's just, you know, we're not this page. You know, we're the administrators. We go through, we take care of a lot of the backroom parts of it. But at this point, it's the members of the group that are the page. They're the ones that are contributing the pictures, the stories, and really have built this group to the point that you know, we're the recipients of the administrator, but it's really the group and everybody that belongs to it that the County Culture and Heritage Commission is recognizing.
Thank you. Yeah, you know, I think you're absolutely right when you call the scrapbook again, like Mr. Popovich did during the video. We didn't just name it that because he mentioned it in the documentary. We named it that because it truly embodies what you two have created. Just everyone sharing what experiences they've been through and their family history and the township history, community history, everything gets put together. All right, before I get into the rest of my questions, to all our viewers out there, please feel free to send in any questions you might have in our comment section on YouTube. We will be doing our best to getting to them. Okay. All right. So my first question is for Mr. AC. Since you had the original idea for the group, how did you decide that Mr. Anderson would be the right partner for you?
Well, I've known you know, Andrew for, you know, like 30 years, almost 40 years, and our parents knew each other, and you know, I knew his background as an author and historian, and I'm just a ham and egger guy that I came up with an idea. I'm a businessman. You know, I'm a realtor. I'm looking to buy and sell houses, but I have a family history here, and I have a passion for it. But I don't pretend to be an historian, so I wanted somebody that you know, was able to give us some direction and some credibility, some gravitas, if you would. and it was a very easy selection in Andrew.
Sounds like you found yourself a great partner.
Oh, thank you.
Mr. Anderson, what was your initial reaction when Mr. AC asked you to be his partner?
A little bit of excitement, maybe some trepidation. It's, you know, what have we gotten ourselves into? At that point, I think there was maybe 100 members of the group, 200. It was one where Pat had started it, and the goal was like, wow, if we could get 1,000 people, this would be really neat. And at that time, it was pretty much just the two of us, where Pat had the idea. He was posting a lot of the collection that he had from over the years, and likewise, I had written some books on my hometown of Seaside Park, as well as articles, the Encyclopedia of New Jersey, and a number of other areas. So I had resources I could tap into from personal collections. the foundation of this was that's what we were doing. We were sharing pictures I had from my previous research, Pat, and it was one of those. Initially, I was wondering how long can we sustain this. You know, the goal was maybe get 1,000 people and see. Okay, let's see. Where this goes. It was a lot of fun for me. It's been tremendous fun. Every once in a while, somebody will post a question, and I've hit the archives looking for answers for them. Other people have known from their life experience what the answers were to other questions. And even as a historian in my own right with the books I've written on Seaside Park, I had posted a picture on the Manhasset, which was this tremendous Gilded Age hotel over in Seaside Park. It's impossible to imagine today. This took up an entire ocean block. And in all my life, I had seen pictures of it from the front and a slight angle. But somebody in our group was related to one of the managers, the last manager of it before it burned down, and had posted some pictures that they had found in a box. And one of them was actually an aerial view of this building. Had never seen it, never knew the true shape of it. So even here I am after decades and decades and decades of doing research in Ocean County's history and Seaside Park's history, finding new things because of members, and they didn't even know what they had was a treasure trove. It was just, there's a picture of this hotel. Oh, I think I have one of those and it was one that nobody had ever seen before. So it's been exciting. Every day is something new. We've had some really enthusiastic members going through family collections, and I'm seeing pictures that never dreamed would have ever seen, never even knew existed. From pictures of Hangar 1 at Navy Lakehurst being constructed to just places that I know of today, but seeing how they were 50 years ago and 100 years ago was amazing.
This is the postcard that kind of started it all, a 1950s Ocean County advertising map on a postcard, and showing all the fun things tourists could do, down here, and it high from Ocean County. And when you think about it, we do what we offer with our huge coastline and our lakes and streams, and just for tourists to come down here, it's just and people to move down here from North Jersey. It was very inviting, and it's been I think it our location about equal distance from Philadelphia and New York City made us a prime area for people to relocate, and they would come down here. The little cottages that dotted the barrier islands for summer places, and they would have fun in the summer. And they said, why don't we just move here year round? The parkway is open now, and we can get to work 30, 40 miles or 50 miles away. We can still get to work and have the best of both worlds, and then come home to what we have here in Ocean County. And I think that was something that really set off the tremendous growth.
All right. You guys both just talked about how much fun it is to watch more members, more people just join the page and have fun with that. And I feel like I have a unique perspective right now to sit here and watch both of you guys talk about how much fun you guys have with the page and the group and all the members within it. So I feel like both of you having a lot of fun doing that is what really makes you guys a great partnership.
Oh, thank you.
There's some individuals, as Andrew's pointed out. One fellow, Joseph Placente. I mean, he's in his late 80s, and he grew up in Toms River, and his memory is unbelievable. And if you just post, say, a picture of a postcard from the 1950s of downtown Toms River, then the stories begin in the comments of he could tell you who owned every shop. He owned a barbershop, but what went on. I mean, and those stories are those heartfelt stories. They're just something I wouldn't trade for. I mean, they're fantastic when you can read through some of these comments and the memories of people. My gosh, I hope I have that kind of memory at that age. It's remarkable.
Yeah, and one of the oddest things was somebody had posted on Facebook a 8th grade school graduation picture and trying to figure out what year it was. Well, it was the Seaside Park Public School, and I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh, and I told him exactly the year it was because there was my mother in the corner right there, and from that was able to identify every person in the picture. So it's funny how everything comes around, and just the memories of people that they're able to look at pictures, especially JoJo can look at a picture from the police department in Toms River from back decades ago, and he'll just start, oh, this is, and he'll name every single person on there. And it's great because I can't tell you how many pictures when I was doing research for the books in Seaside Park, and we'd have these pictures with a number of people in it and no identification on the back. And once the people who remember that are gone, then it's lost forever. So having the page where there's so many people that are looking at these pictures and know the history because they lived it, and they're able to identify the shops, the owners, the individuals in the pictures, what happened to the property, when it burned down, when something replaced it. This is something that even if you sat down, like when you sat down and interviewed us and had an hour interview, this is the type of information that you would never get out of an interview with somebody. It's something that it's there, it sparks their memories, they write it down. So it's a tremendous asset we've had to the county. It's been wonderful to be recognized by the County Culture and Heritage Commission for us administrators as the members receive the credit too, because what they're doing, and we're just helping to facilitate, is really preserving so much of the history and the culture and the remembrances of Ocean County.
All right. So for my next question, it's for the both of you.
Sure.
Do you have a favorite Ocean County historical site that you like to go back and visit or read and research more about?
I'm sorry, Ocean County?
Historical site.
Oh, historical site. Well, I've always enjoyed the lighthouse. I think it's a great symbol for Ocean County, and just the climate and the view and the history of the keeper that lived there, and when it was built in the 1800s, and I just think it's a great symbol, and it's a great. I'm glad it's a state park and it's preserved now, even if and they take care of the grounds, and it's just. I think it's great for Ocean County that we have it, and the history of it. It's fascinating.
All right. Do you have a favorite?
I do. Two of the most influential books in my background. One was This History of Seaside Park, which was actually written by my mother in 1973 for the town's 75th anniversary. So when I was growing up as a child, I was ingrained in the history of the town, and my father driving around, he'd be pointing out in Toms River, because I grew up on the island. It was actually, hard as it is to imagine, it was a big deal to go from Seaside Park to Toms River, especially to the brand new Ocean County Mall. That was like a once a week big trip. It was almost like going to the big city. So what I knew was this little small island life, and because my great-grandparents had moved there back in 1908 and built a house on the bayfront and had been instrumental in literally the building of the town. My grandfather built many of the houses in Seaside Park. I was always ingrained with, that's a house that your grandfather built. So grew up with that history. But in case you hadn't noticed, I don't know if you've ever been around Seaside Park in the summertime. It tends to get a little crowded. So when I was in high school, I found John McPhee's book, The Pine Barrens. And this is my original copy. I dug it out from the bookcase. In fact, it still has an aged piece of paper in here with notes in it. And one of them was on the page that covered one of the sites here in Ocean County, which was Double Trouble State Park, a former cranberry bog. And that's to me, other than the town of Seaside Park, growing up and the history there, for a historic site, probably my favorite one, just because it's a nice little preserved piece of property. It's owned by the state, but has a wealth of history going back to the Revolutionary era. So that's something I'm constantly doing research on, and really thrive as I find new information that hasn't been documented for it.
Thank you for sharing.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Going back to Mr. Acey. Since you've talked about how your family history runs so deep within the county, was there a certain family member that got you specifically into history?
Well, my dad, he was a history teacher at Toms River Intermediate School from 1960 to the early 90s, and he would, always give us quizzes and state capitals and things, and then later on he would talk about our family in Toms River and give me. He gave me all the information he had years ago. So, yeah, definitely my dad. My mom, though, she was very much into local history. She was a member of the Daughters of the American Revolution Joshua Huddy chapter, and she helped get that monument that's at Huddy Park for Joshua Huddy when she was the chapter regent. So I think both my parents definitely, gave me the interest in history, and that, so hopefully I can pass that on to my children.
Thank you. Mr. Anderson,
Yes.
Speaking of family, you wrote a book with your mother. Can you share more on the experience, how that was working with someone so close to you?
Oh, absolutely. In fact, this is, as I mentioned, this is the book that my mother had written back in 1973, and when she wrote this, it's a lot of pictures, a lot of captions, and she had always wanted to do more research, more than just little photos, little captions and such. So as the town was nearing its 100th anniversary, its centennial in 1998, she had been collecting a lot of pictures, a lot of newspaper articles and such. And she's a very good researcher, had it all organized, but when it was becoming crunch time, she had asked if I could help. I had a history degree and I already worked for a local paper and had done articles, was teaching at Ocean County College with the continuing ed department at that time. And it was a lot of fun because just the enthusiasm of my mother and her enthusiasm to actually, this is the book that we had written together, and instead of just the captions, it's a lot of text. We did a lot of research for it. She spent time over going through microfilm and microfiche at the county library, a lot of records, and the amazing thing, if we had to do this again, the amount of information that's available now, this was 1998, where today, it's amazing. The Ocean County Library has databases online of the old New Jersey Courier, which previously was available as microfilm. The ones that are in the public domain now are all scanned as searchable PDFs. So you can go to the county library, to the website, go to the database, and just type in phrases, and it'll search through the documents and bring them up for you, the newspaper articles. So even now, decades after having written this book and another book on the town, I'm still learning new items. But working with my mother, it was a tremendous joy, and this is probably one of the biggest amounts of pride that we had was when we wrote this book together. It was for her fulfillment of something that started back in 1956 when she was a senior at Toms River High School, which is now Toms River South. She was part of the last graduating class for Seaside Park students who went to the school prior to the following years when Central Regional opened, and Seaside Park, Seaside Heights, Island Heights students went to that new regional school. But as a senior at Toms River High School, she wrote her first paper on Seaside Park's history. So it went from that to the book in 1973, which she was never happy with, to this book here, which we self-published, so we had complete control over it. And probably one of the most researched stories on the town, which really fulfilled her dream. And she was excited because we had so much information and so many pictures left over. Sorry, trying to find it off camera here, that we actually did a second book for the Image of America series with Acadia, with all the additional pictures that we, sorry about that, that we have from the books. So for her, it was a joy working with her, and it was really satisfying to see her fulfillment of what she had started as a high school senior with a little paper reach what she had always envisioned as an in-depth book on the town's history. So.
Yeah, it's funny how you mentioned the whole research process that
Yes.
both of you went through, because I distinctly remember you saying that in the interview, and I actually really pulled for that part to be in the final piece because I found that really interesting, and I could tell by the way that you were talking about it that you felt it was important for other people to know.
Oh, absolutely. We have tremendous resources here in Ocean County. We have the Ocean County Historical Society. Many towns have their own historical societies. And even with the county library, and just as with this Facebook group that was recognized by the County Culture and Heritage Commission is an online resource, so many resources we have been digitized and are available online, where you no longer have to physically go out to the library to look for these resources. You can sit at home or at your office and just type in the search words on the database, and it'll be right there. There's still things you have to physically go out to see, but so much more is being digitized both here in Ocean County and statewide and nationwide. So the ease of seeing all these historic documents is becoming that much easier.
All right, thank you. Okay. The next few questions will be for both of you. How would you describe the relationship between yourselves as administrators and the other members of the page?
Well, in a lot of ways, they're part of my family. Some ways I just get to know. They personal message me. They appreciate what we're doing, and like I had mentioned, Joe Placente. I give him a phone call once in a while to see how he's doing. And he goes down to Florida in the winter, and you just get concerned when you hear someone's not feeling well or out of commission, and you try to contact them. And we've had some people that were members originally that are no longer with us. So you do. When I read their heartfelt comments and the family photos that they've posted and the stories they tell, then you can't help but feel for them, and you appreciate that they've shared this, the moments of their lives, and I feel like it makes it worthwhile what we've been able to pull off here, and it's something that I think it really, during the pandemic, and I think it kind of you take stock of what you have in life and what's important, and I think people had some more free time sitting at home, and I think it kind of helped our growth too during the pandemic. But it definitely I've made a lot of friends. I've discovered a lot of cousins, so it's been really good. I really feel like we have made a difference in people's lives. They really enjoy what they see, and sharing their stories.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think there's been a great appreciation. We get a lot of comments thanking us for what we've put together and maintaining the professionalism of it. Every once in a while, there's over 23,000, almost 24,000 members. Every once in a while, you get somebody going off the handle, and we take care of it as quickly as possible. Try and keep everything as focused, and it's for fun. So there's a good appreciation for what we do, how we manage the site, and I can't tell you just how much we appreciate the people that have taken their time to share their memories, their photos, and it's really a two-way street. It's amazing the numbers of people that we've met through them, cousins that Pat's met, people that somebody would post a family photo and somebody else will look at it and go, oh, that's my relative, and here we have people that never knew they were related coming together because of the page. Yeah. So it's just been a wonderful interaction with the members of the group.
Yeah. All right. Thank you. Thank you both. How does it feel when a member of the page shares a piece of history and teaches you something that you wouldn't have known otherwise?
Oh, it's awesome. I mean, I just see it. I see, my God, where'd they get that photo? That is spectacular. I'm sure Andrew said the same thing. That has never been published before. That was in somebody's desk drawer or up in the attic, and they scanned it or took a photo of it and put it out here on Ocean County Memories. Wow. Yeah, like I said, I love history, but local history, especially when I see something, never before seen photo of a business or something that is pertinent to Ocean County that people have talked about, but we never had a photo before, or we never had that photo. As Andrew talked about the large hotel. Yeah, it's wow. We just like, wow, where did you get that? That is fantastic. We've been, so it's definitely a great feeling when you see some of these photos for the first time, because you might not. Some cases I wasn't alive, but during when this building was here, and I've heard about it, and then when somebody pulls out a photo of it that nobody knew existed, it was in their desk drawer, like I say, or in a shoebox somewhere. Wow, this is great.
All right.
Yeah, and likewise, it's always exciting as a historian seeing a picture that you've never seen. There are a number of Ocean County pictures which are the stock pictures that are around forever and everybody uses. The old wooden bridge, the drawbridge that used to go from Toms River to Pelican Island, Seaside Heights. So anytime you see a brand new photo of either something that you're familiar with, but from a different angle, or something that you didn't know there was still a photo of, it's like a kid at Christmas morning with a package. And you were talking before with the interaction with the people that are group members, and even the interaction of the members between themselves, where somebody will think back to their childhood and it's like, oh, does anybody have a picture of this? And members out there, with almost 24,000 members of the group, as people start going through their photo albums and actually take their time to try and find a picture of it to help somebody else. I had one of those, with the situation being at home for so much over the past year, just reliving my own childhood. And as I mentioned, growing up on what felt like an isolated island as a youth, everything was Point Pleasant based for us. As I mentioned, coming over Toms River, that was like going to the big city as a kid. So going for shoes was always a trip up to Point Pleasant. And it was trying to remember, I was like, oh, I remember going to this little hole-in-the-wall store and found out the gentleman's name who had it, but just went on to the group and said, hey, does anybody have a picture of, and within probably half an hour, somebody actually posted a picture of the store as it looked back when I was knee-high going there with my father to get my Buster Brown. So it's one of those things that's like, it just was like, wow, that's neat. And it brought back a flood of memories of, going out with my late father when I was knee high and all the fun we used to have. So it brings us joy, as much joy as the group brings to the members when they bring something in that we haven't seen and experience a brand new part of the county history for us. It gives us that same joy that they have.
Yeah, I think if you can make a personal connection to a photo, you see something that's where I went when I was a child. That's where my mom took me grocery shopping, or that's where I went to the movies. Then it can be special. My grandfather, he went to school in a one-room schoolhouse in Eastover, what they call the Germantown or Dutchtown School, and generations of ACs went there because that section was known as AC Town, west of Vaughan Avenue and east of Long Swamp. And so what happened when that school closed many years ago, that building was taken down to Smithville. It was purchased by the village, and I was down there at Christmas time, and it's a cheese. That particular school is a cheese shop now, and so, but I just walked in there and imagined what it was like with a potbelly stove going and the kids sitting around, at desks, and how different it was. One teacher, and it just, you can just kind of go back in time in your mind and say, wow, my grandfather was in this building, when he was a young man, and it's so like I say, if you can make a personal connection to a photo or something, it really is, it can really be something special for you.
Right. Yeah, not only are people of the group sharing personal photos, but they're sharing personal photos, like you guys said earlier, that they didn't even know were important. So me being an outsider, you guys highlighting how important that photo really is to the county history is crazy to me, because I would have never known that otherwise.
Yeah, and some of them are like important to the history of the county itself, finding a picture of Hangar 1 when it was under construction.
Right.
Others are important just for personal. Somebody had posted a picture of Seaside Park back in the probably 1920s and didn't know what street it was or such, but I looked at it and knew immediately, like, okay, this is 6th Avenue, because in the far background was my great-grandparents' house, which was built in 1908, and then it got knocked off its foundation during a flood in 1934 and demolished. So it was just neat because I only have 2 pictures with the house in it, and now here's a third one from a completely different angle, and it's just a little speck in the background, but it's something that wouldn't be important to anybody else, but I could relate to it, so it had importance to me as part of my family heritage. And that's where a lot of these pictures, some of them, they might relate to 1 or 2 people. Others, Pat had a picture of the very first Jersey Mike's, and that one had hundreds, if not thousands, of responses to it. It's amazing as administrators looking at what resonates with the people, what we think is important, and this has always been the challenge with historians, is I could spend hours going through and finding something that was amazing, and it might resonate with a few people, but then you find something that everybody's familiar with, a sub shop or an ice cream shop, and that's where just the flood of memories comes out. It's like, oh, I remember going there. We used to go after every football game, we'd go there or something, and it would draw people from different classes together. So even, it's something that you are doing right now. Well, in 10 years from now, the seniors at the school might still be doing it. So if there's a picture posted, it might resonate with you, but they're also like, wow, we do that also. and it shows what some of the traditions were here in Ocean County.
Yeah, I mean, some of them are just silly. Like I had been seeking a photo of the Howard Johnson's restaurant that was on Route 37 at Toms River. It's an IHOP today. Because my grandmother used to take me there. They had 28 flavors of ice cream, and I'd get a mint chocolate chip ice cream. And finally, someone posted one a couple weeks ago, the Howard Johnson's restaurant in a snowstorm. And I had never seen a photo of the Howard Johnson's restaurant, anywhere. And I think I called up Andrew. There it is. Somebody posted it. But that was just a personal connection I made. And, there's thousands of these personal connections being made with these photos on our group. It's just what's special to any individual. So, and then, it can elicit their stories. Wow, I remember this is, I met my wife there. We get several of those. I met my wife there, and we've been married 50 years. That's a great story. I love those stories.
Yeah, circling back to what you said, Mr. Anderson, saying how certain pieces of history resonate with certain groups. I remember digging through your page, searching for pictures to put in our documentary, and I found it kind of amusing that some of the pictures that I found really fascinating had a few comments, and then some things like the custard shop you mentioned earlier had a full page worth of comments and conversation, and it was really nice to see that in a picture.
Yeah, it's always amazing, and one of the things that we try and do for some of the events is like the On the State feature. Yesterday was the anniversary of the Hindenburg explosion, so we usually post something. If it's something with the county history anniversaries, we'll post, and a lot of those will bring out tremendous amounts of credits. We also like to share from the Run for the Fallen, any of the service members from Ocean County that were lost in service to the country, because we always try and remember, the county is not just the buildings that are here or the roadways or our favorite ice cream shop or Howard Johnson's, but the people that built it. And so try and give as much credit and share the stories of the individuals that were here, going all the way back to Joel Haywood, the first high sheriff, and all these other people, just trying to remember, that we're only here for a short time, and we're showing the history, and we just hope that this will keep going in the future. So that
there's been some great success stories in Ocean County, and Jersey Mike's was obviously one of them that started it. That Peter Cranko, he was he bought the business when he was in high school. He borrowed money from his coach, and he bought the sub shop, and he turned it into across the country, with franchises. And another guy, Ron DeMeo, in the 60s, his dad was a butcher in Manahawkin, and he started making surfboards out of his garage. And now, Ron John Surf Shop's a multi-million-dollar worldwide company. So those things people have interest in that, are kind of a backstory of things that, people who knew these people before they were successful businessmen, will tell their stories of, hey, I knew him when he was a sophomore in high school, or, and you learn something every day, in our group. I think you really can.
Yeah. I mean, sports figures. Doc Kramer, who was a professional baseball player from down the Stafford area, brought Babe Ruth here to do some hunting, and there's pictures of him. So and between that, Al Leiter and Martin
Doc,
Truex Jr.
Doc Kramer got nicknamed Doc because he hung around with a real medical doctor, Dr. Hilliard. He followed him everywhere. So there's some great stories out there, and we do take some criticism. We do get some messages. Hey, you're not covered. You're not putting out there much about Southern Ocean County or Manahawkin, or and we do the best we can. I mean, you have to remember Toms River was the happening place. It was pretty rural down here back in the day. So a lot of the stories were taking place in Toms River. A lot of the businesses, people had to drive a long way to go shopping, you know. So, I think we've been pretty fair on what I'm trying to cover all of Ocean County, and in our newspaper stories that we've been able to find, in our, you know, posts that we've made. But, you know, we do take some criticism, and I try to smooth it out.
All right. For the final question, what connections have you made with the members of the group, and what connections do you hope to make with the members in the future?
That's a good question. I think that I'm always looking for feedback, so what we can do better, and what they like. And I think, to a certain extent, that's, we have made some adjustments. As I say, if somebody's messaged me that, you haven't had anything about Barnegat in a long time or something, then I'll, sometimes I'll go back and find some older posts and repost them, because, a lot of times somebody may have just joined the group a few months ago. So even though with the search engine you can go back and find stories on if you're interested in a particular town or a particular topic, you can see if anything's been posted in the past. But a lot of people don't know that, so they get in there and, So yeah, we're always looking for feedback. We're looking to make new friends, and as a businessman, I'm looking for, to get to know people, and maybe they can use my services as in the real estate business. So yeah, it's been really good. There's a lot of I've learned a lot, and there's a lot of good people that appreciate what we've been able to put together here, and the growth that continues to just surprise us. It's like that commercial. She told two friends about it, and so on and so on. That shampoo commercial from many years ago, and it's word of mouth. So, Ocean County Memories, yeah, it's join it if you're not on there.
Yeah, because I said when this started, it was Pat and me, and for the first several months, we pretty much were the group. We were posting from our collections, but now the group is self-sustaining. We're just at the wheel, steering it every once in a while and taking care of things, but the amount of regulars that are posting every single day with incredible memories, so probably one of the goals are for the areas that might be underseen in the group, where we're not getting a lot from Western Jersey, the Plumstead, New Egypt, South, is, just the goal would be hopefully to entice people from that area who want to join and want to share their stories and their photos, and make sure that everybody in Ocean County and Facebook land, because I said we have a lot of people all over the country, even international, who have memories of here in Ocean County and moved, they left Paradise to go to whatever else area that they're living in, but they want to remember Paradise here in Ocean County, and so hopefully one of my hopes would be that people would want to share, make sure that their part of the county is covered, the Long Beach Island area, down the Tuckerton area, some of those people make sure that they share, so that people up in the Brick, Toms River, Lacey area gets to see more of the heritage. Because as we said from the very beginning when Pat started this, it was really trying to include all of the county, because there are so many town history sites out there that people have started, but nothing for the overall county. And we welcome everybody to come and share their stories and make sure that all of Ocean County is included in this group.
Yeah, I think that's important, that we want inclusion. We want everybody to feel like they, they're getting something out of the group.
Yeah, they're getting something and that their stories are told.
Yeah. So.
Like I said before, I have sort of a outside perspective, but from what I've seen in the group, on the page, from the research I've gathered, you guys have really created your own community on Facebook, in Facebook world, as Mr. Anderson put it. The community seems really tight-knit. Everyone seems to have each other's back. It's a nice sense of camaraderie that you see on social media, and you guys did a really nice job in creating that.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been an honor, for the County Culture and Heritage Commission to recognize the group, ourselves as administrators, but really this recognition, this honor is for the entire group, because we're not the ones that are out there posting and sharing. Like I said, we're just we're at the wheel right now, steering and making sure that it's still focused.
When I talked to Tim Hart a few months ago, when I got the letter, that I was like, I really appreciate it. I never envisioned that we would get recognition from the Culture and Heritage Society. We were just looking to have fun, and and we are still having fun. That's the main thing, One of the things, I get a lot in the comments is, it was better back then, the good old days, and one thing constant in life is change, and while they're correct, it's not what Toms River and Ocean County, it's not what it was in the 1950s in 2021. But there's a lot, so much good in Ocean County, so many recreational possibilities for people, and that I think that I think of that. Years ago, there was a ride at Disney World where you kind of spun around to different time periods, and they would sing "Now is the best time of your life," and I think that's the way I look at it. Now is the best time of your life. Ocean County has a lot to offer, and we've just scratched the surface.
Great. Well, I can't wait for you guys to dig deeper into Ocean County.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yeah.
At this point in the night, I would like to once again congratulate the both of you on winning the 2021 Ocean County Cultural and Heritage Commission Special Award for Merit. I would like to thank everyone at home for joining us tonight and watching this evening. If there's anything else either of you would like to add, please feel free.
Did you have anything?
No, it's an honor for us to be here to share this aspect of Ocean County, and for us it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing that over almost 24,000 people have an interest in Ocean County like we have, that want to learn about the county, share their stories, and this is such a unique experience where it's documenting, recording, and saving the memories and the perspective and the stories of thousands of people that generations to come will be able to go back to and learn how Ocean County was to people throughout the time period. So
when my great grandparents came into the county in the 1850s, they saw something that made them want to stay and raise their families, and the generations afterwards, that they enjoyed the bay, the ocean, and everything it has to offer. And I think in a lot of ways, people, they maybe only scratch the surface of. They don't. Our beaches are fantastic. Our fishing opportunities and recreational opportunities in the bay and the oceans. But when you go inland a little, like the Collier's Mills wildlife management area in Jackson, here's over 12,000 acres of pinelands, of lakes and impoundments, and you can just get lost in there. I can go in there with a container of worms and my fishing pole and escape or with my shotgun during deer season and get lost and just be with myself, with nature. And I think, yes, our population has grown, but we still have a lot of open space that's been preserved for generations, and I think that's a lot of what makes Ocean County special, that you can get away from it all in a few minutes and enjoy yourself. And I think people should kind of look at what you've overlooked. You go to the beach every weekend, but maybe try something else in Ocean County, and you may be pleasantly surprised.
All right. Thank you both once again for joining us this evening. Thank you again to everyone at home for joining us and watching. Like I said, I can't wait to hear more from you guys, reading it on the page in the group. I'll be there. So thank you and good night.